Yo, yo, what up, what up? It's your boy, the one, the only General's the greatest, back at it again. So this one, I just want to make a quick shout out to Purple TJ. It's PurpleTeeJ. Purple TJ, I guess. Anyway, shout outs to Purple TJ. Thanks for making this video. It's a video of Stray Kids survival show. And I think Pangchan made it, but I know they had to compete. But this is like a shorter version of that. So anyway, let's just jump right into it.
Shows eliminate individuals. Stray Kids didn't, at least not at first. Stray Kids were judged as a team because they weren't formed by a company. They were formed by one trainee, and that single decision changed how every mistake, every elimination, and every success was handled. At the beginning of the show, Stray Kids were referred to as the boys project team, and they were positioned against the girls team 2, a group assembled directly by JYP Entertainment. Girls team 2 are framed as the traditional model, where they're decided by the company and each individual is very strong, but their cohesiveness isn't quite the same as Stray Kids. The boys project team is framed as pretty much the opposite, where they've got chemistry with each other and they have their
But that's very surprising for like a big company like that to give one trainee like all the freedom to pick the group, the members, like they're singing their beats, the producing, the dance, everything. I think it's very out of the norm, but man, they really did a good job, because Bangchan did a great job picking all the members. It's a great group.
Personalities in line. There's a sense to them that they're still being shaped in real time. Probably the most important distinction between them is the structure they were formed in, where the boys project team was formed by Chan and girls team 2 was formed by the company. That detail basically becomes the foundation for how JYP evaluates them throughout the series, where the responsibility is laid onto Chan and is dependent on him whether they succeed or fail. From the very beginning, their fate isn't only tied to how they perform, it's also tied to the leadership and whether Chan's vision can survive reality. We're introduced to a couple of the members of the boys project team. Changbin, who Chan is actually known for a little bit, being that they were in 3 Racha together, enjoys presenting himself darkly. Changbin's trying to establish a strong first impression and differentiate himself early on, because he knows being forgettable is worse than making mistakes.
He looks so skinny because now
he believes that his intensity will be what gets him through. If he hits hard enough, no one can ignore him. For Chan, he wants to escape being a trainee. He's carrying shame for being a trainee for 6 years at this point, and that shame has become a driver for him.
13,
he fits into that leader role very well, as he wants to help the other members get through the best that he can, because he doesn't want them to be stuck in the same way that he was.
Like kids,
for him, his goal isn't just debuting. His goal is for all 9 of them to debut together. We're also introduced to one of the vocalists in the group, Seungmin. His motivation is a little more quiet and more internal for him. He wants to do well because it's a step closer to his identity as a singer. This is a driver that quite a lot of the members actually share. Most of them, if not all of them, want to make it through to debut, so they're willing to give up whatever they have to and put in all the work that they need to make it to that point. Boys Project Team and Girls Team 2 battle it out at JYP's Homecoming Showcase in 2017.
Yeah, like to really be like a successful group like Stray Kids or any of the bigger groups, you really have to put in that work, that practice. It's like literally just eat, sleep, practice, eat, sleep, practice. But it shows in their, in the videos and their songs.
The winner, as decided by JYP, will be given the opportunity to debut. However, Boys Project Team's rehearsal doesn't go perfect. Changbin drops his mic, and around the same time, Jisung also drops his mic. It's clear they're very overwhelmed by fatigue, nerves, and emotional instability. They're struggling at this point, and they're anxious about what's to come. These mistakes weigh on them incredibly. However, being the leader that he is, Chan steps in to help encourage them. That doesn't necessarily make waiting any easier though. Jisung compares it to being a trauma-level nerve. Jisung and Mino, the lead dancer in Boys Project Team, are mixed up by how strong Girls Team 2 performed. However, they still believe Boys Project Team can do amazing. They might be anxious, but they're confident in their abilities. As the showcase begins, 3 Racha perform Runner's High, one of their original songs. This stage leans into more of their individuality and the raw energy that they have, rather than the perfect synchronization that'll be expected from Boys Project Team. Unlike 3RACHA's performance, Boys Project Team begin with a cover song. This choice leans into more of what was expected at this time. K-pop idols were expected to perform the songs they were given and not necessarily write them like 3RACHA had. As they wrap up their performance and the showcase entirely, everyone goes back out on stage to await their evaluation from JYP. Despite Changbin's mistake during the rehearsal, JYP specifically highlights him for knowing how to make himself known on stage. This is something important that we'll hear more of as the show continues. JYP praises the group's teamwork, saying they feel like a complete organism. While Girls Team 2 might have more skilled individuals, Boys Project Team feels like a complete team. This leads JYP to ultimately choose Boys Project Team over the Girls Team 2 because of the power that the Boys Project Team carries as a unit. However, JYP still emphasizes that this team will need cleaning up and members with large skill gaps could be eliminated. He explicitly says he'll evaluate them more as a team than as individuals because Chan formed them. With all the members officially in a team together, they move into the same dorm. They're living as a unit and not just training as one. Once they've moved in, they go to the arcade and play some games, showing a lighter, more normal dynamic before the evaluation wait fully sets in. This brief moment of normalcy highlights what's about to come with the very little rest and very little emotional room they're going to be having. They receive their next mission in the very same day,
but that's gotta be
prepare
cool,
a self-composed song, and perform it live for JYP. This favors the creativity 3RACHA has, but places intense pressure on the rest of the group to keep up musically and emotionally. JYP also reminds them that eliminations could occur if anyone fails to keep up with their skills. It's a reminder that this mission isn't just a creative challenge, it's also a survival test for them. They all listen through the songs that 3RACHA and the other producers had prepared and eventually choose Elevator. Changbin suggests transforming the song into Hellevator. He compares training to rising up from hell, shedding bloody sweat and bloody tears, and insisting that the process of becoming a singer is hell. Chan immediately assumes his responsibility as a leader and gets the song ready as fast as he can so that the team can get ready fast as well. He's prioritizing the speed and cohesion over the rest he could be taking, acting like exhaustion is unavoidable and therefore acceptable. However, the song is very challenging vocally, making Jisung, originally a rapper, take on a singing role in Elevator. He says that he'll work harder so that he doesn't harm the team, and his motivation isn't personal spotlight, it's about not being the reason that they fail. They continue to practice the performance as much as they can, and Chan ensures everyone stays focused and improving, even if he has to be a little harsh. He calls out Jongin, one of Stray Kids' vocalists, for always looking up when he dances and focusing on visible habits that JYP could criticize. Jongin struggling to lock the choreography in 2 days before the performance, with his anxiety rising because he feels like he's behind. Mino steps in to help him, and Jongin becomes deeply grateful. Mino quietly establishes himself as a stabilizer or a teacher, kind of the backbone for Stray Kids dance at this point. As they meet with JYP for the performance, they introduce themselves as Stray Kids and explain the song's meaning. The performance is very hard for them. JYP ends up saying Jisung is the only one he actually liked, and he's surprised because Jisung is known as a rapper, not a vocalist. Jisung immediately pushes back afterward though, insisting everyone worked hard through the night and he shouldn't be the only one receiving praise. He's conflicted about the individual praise he's receiving when the group struggled together, already resisting being singled out. JYP warns Chan that he's still too focused on the team, and he tells him he needs to be more selfish in his performances. For Chan, it creates a contradiction he can't really resolve easily. He has to either protect the group or protect himself. JYP announces to the group that Elevator will receive a recorded music video and be released before the show airs. With that in mind, it's no longer just an evaluation stage, it's a public statement of who they are. JYP decides it's best for them to shorten parts that members struggle with so that they can show themselves doing it correctly. He says it's better to eliminate someone than allow them to keep lowering the overall level of the group. The idea that someone could be sacrificed for the better of the group lands hardest emotionally for them. Changbin is visibly affected, where he doesn't even want to imagine losing someone. Jongin is identified as the first member at risk. JYP says he sang 2 pre-chorus lines, and suddenly the performance looked amateurish. Jongin's shocked, and his first instinct is to apologize to the team, not focusing on himself at all. JYP observes Jongin struggling with long vocal portions, and advises him to switch to the My Elevator part instead, giving him something much shorter that he can handle. One of their rappers, Hyunjin, is placed at risk too. JYP says his rapping has force, but lacks in pronunciation, making his intensity become messy. Hyunjin is told to stop doing verse 2 and focus on verse 1. Mino is placed at risk of elimination because of his singing. JYP says his vocals stood out, but not because he was good.
It's gotta
When
be
asked
hard,
if
you
he's
know?
tried
You're so
rapping,
young. This
Mino
is what you
hesitates,
want.
says
And
he
you got the
hasn't, but he thinks he
CEO
can
right
do
there
it.
kinda
He's immediately
criticizing all the
tasked
little
with taking
points.
Hyunjin's
But
original
I'm sure
verse,
it's,
and you can see
you
him
know,
freeze
constructive
under
criticism,
pressure.
you know? He's
After
not just
feedback and
shitting on
part
them or putting
changes,
them down.
the group
So,
runs the song again.
you know, it probably
Everyone is
gives you
visibly
that
tense.
motivation
Standing
to
still
even
is
work harder,
hard,
just really
breathing
get
looks
it.
heavy,
But
and
yo,
the
I'm
eliminations
surprised
hang in
'cause
the
you
air.
see the group
Mino
now, they're
panics and
so on
practices
point, you know?
obsessively as his part
So it's all that
approaches.
practice.
He manages to get through it, surprising JYP by how decent it was. JYP instructs them to form units of 3 for the next mission, placing the members at risk at the center. If those at risk fail to show growth, an elimination will occur. Stray Kids continue by selecting their units and the songs they'll perform. Changbin and Felix help Mino prepare his rap, coaching him through timing and delivery. The three of them prepare Glow. Mino feels conflicted relying on his juniors, believing he should be helping them instead. Hyunjin works with Chan and Seungmin on 4419. However, he has to give up his desire to showcase dance because 4419 doesn't suit a choreography so well. He commits fully to improving his pronunciation and control, even practicing with a pen in his mouth so he can force over articulation so that when he removes it, his pronunciation becomes cleaner. He narrows his motivation into one goal, hearing JYP say he improved. Chan praises Hyunjin's tone while recording the guide, noting how he knows how to fix what was pointed out. Jisung and Woojin join Jonghyun's unit. However, Jonghyun worries that if he has too many parts, they'll become poison and drag the unit down. Woojin reassures him though, letting him know that they'll help him. Jisung believes confidence and care are key to helping Jonghyun succeed. The three of them perform School Life together. Jonghyun worries about his vocals, but understands that failing now means elimination. He has to improve no matter what it takes. While they're preparing, each unit takes a brief break in different ways. Team Mino goes to the Han River, Team Jonghyun goes to karaoke, and Team Hyunjin goes bowling. They try to release the pressure quickly, knowing judgment is still waiting.
So many
They
people
can't
on
get
the
lazy
weekends.
now.
The weather's
Following
nice,
their
it's
short
packed.
break, each unit performs for the other members and self-assesses them. It's the first time we see the group judging each other and not just supporting each other. Some members joke during this evaluation, using humor to deflect the tension. However, Chan immediately pushes back, reminding them someone could be eliminated and they should treat it like JYP is watching. Jisung praises Hyunjin's pronunciation improvements, and Hyunjin visibly relaxes. Chan high-fives him, giving him physical encouragement and a quick confirmation that he's seen. Team
good
Mino
unit
performs
together, man.
next, with Jisung suggesting that Mino needs to catch his rap more rhythmically. Changbin immediately steps in to take the blame, saying he taught Mino wrong, shielding him from any additional criticisms. Team Jonghyun goes last, with Jisung excitedly rushing to grab the microphone. With Woojin and Jisung supporting him, Jonghyun tries to work harder so that he can repay the belief they've given him. However, their performance isn't exactly what it should be. They run through it again, and Chan has to call Jonghyun out for not singing when he should be. At this point, Chan's becoming increasingly worried that the group doesn't fully understand what's at stake right here.
난 준비 안 돼 있는 것처럼 보이잖아.
Later in an interview, Jonghyun admits that he's losing his confidence. He struggles to articulate his feelings and reveals he hides difficulty behind smiling, even though smiling has become hard too. This emotional suppression becomes a survival tool for them. If they don't show fatigue, they don't become a burden. The day of the unit performances arrives, leaving everyone feel nervous. Different members are rehearsing still, trying to do the best that they can when it matters. JYP reminds them again that members must meet the company standards. Effort alone doesn't guarantee their safety. Team Hyunjin goes first, performing with a bus set. JYP tells Chan that 4419 was his best performance yet. Chan feels pleased, but immediately shifts to guilt, worrying what JYP will say about the others. Even success has become something he can't fully enjoy without fear attached. However, JYP says Hyunjin improved so much he wondered if he was the same kid from before. Hyunjin lets out a breath of relief, with validation finally arriving after his obsessive level of effort. Seungmin too is praised for his singing, specifically being able to sing in the middle register, something not many singers are capable of. The three step off the stage, and Team Mino steps up. They begin their performance, but unfortunately Mino's nerves cause him to make a mistake. JYP says that Mino has improved, but not by much. They step off as Mino fears it may have been his last performance. However, Changbin reassures him and takes his hand, though it's not fully enough, as Mino cries, angry at himself for not matching the rehearsal. Changbin feels guilty, even though he received praise. He worries that he protected himself and didn't take care of Mino and Felix. Team Jong.
It's so dope seeing all of them, how they always try to stick up for each other as a full team. Because there's people out there that just want to be praised themselves and be like, push them aside. But that brotherhood bond, I love seeing that about this group. You could see it when you see their videos and their
And steps up
performances.
next. Jisung
It's
feels
like a
worried
true,
about what result
genuine
could
brotherhood.
come. He admits that he's trying to hold on to Jongin no matter what.
정민이가 탈락하면 진짜로 힘들 것 같아.
After their performance, JYP says he finds it difficult to criticize Jisung, but also says Jisung didn't stand out much this time around. JYP also calls Jongin's performance regretful, saying his voice feels stuffy, and now his dance feels stuffy too. Jongin looks totally crushed, because he did try, and the result still doesn't match. JYP advises that singers must believe they are special to perform amazingly. All the 9 members come back out on stage, awaiting the final result. Unfortunately, Mino is eliminated. JYP doesn't feel like he's been in the company long enough and he hasn't had enough time to train. He feels as though it'd be a disservice to Mino to let him debut as he is now. On stage, Mino tries to remain professional, holding himself together in front of the others. Jisung can't accept it emotionally, like refusing the reality will change it. Chan can't accept it morally, like his leadership should have prevented it. Hyunjin feels like all their practice was futile. However, Mino's fear is quieter. He's worried about what happens now, with his original path disappearing. Jisung is the first to go to Mino and comfort him. Mino apologizes to Chan, but Chan tells him he should be the one who's sorry. The staff interview different members, with Seungmin becoming quickly overwhelmed while talking and ending the interview early. It shows how deep the loss hits even the quieter members. Afterward, Mino resents himself. He wishes he slept 1 hour less and practiced more. He believes his desperation wasn't enough. However, despite elimination, Mino continues practicing at the company. We're told that Mino helps the remaining members with their choreography, though we never actually see this in the show. JYP gathers the remaining members and teaches them 3 values as an idol: sincerity, diligence, and modesty. He emphasizes that nobody keeps all 3 perfectly, but intention and effort matter more than perfection. He then presents them with their next mission, a trainee battle against YG Entertainment. They begin preparing for 3 categories of battle: the free battle, the vocal battle, and the dance battle. The members sort themselves into each one and begin practicing for what they'll perform. 3RACHA takes on the free battle, choosing to give a rap performance. The vocal team takes on a cover of Blackpink's As If It's Your Last, choosing to rearrange the song into more of Stray Kids sound.
Wow,
Jan
so
keeps
much shit
rearranging
they
As
do.
If It's Your Last and Matryoshka, 3RACHA's song, late into the night, repeating his self-sacrificing pattern of trying to sacrifice his time for the better of the group. While they're practicing these performances, they're given a short vacation to Gangneung and Gangmun Beach. It helps to lift their spirits, especially after Mino's elimination, but the group reminds themselves they have to return and work harder immediately. Halfway to the battle, they present their performances to JYP for his approval. JYP frames the battle as company pride, meaning he will be picky about who represents JYPE. 3RACHA begins it, giving their rap performance, but Jisung is told his flow is lacking, and he's asked to rework it. JYP ends up removing Chan from the free battle, saying his skills are lacking and he should focus on improving the song. Changbin is the only one who receives praise. However, he worries about performing without Chan as a center. Changbin is still driven though. He wants to show YG that JYPE has strong rappers as well. The vocal team goes next, but JYP is worried about Jongin's vocals and says he isn't ready to represent JYPE as a vocalist. This leads Jongin to be exempt from the vocal battle, and his confidence takes another hit. However, the other members encourage him, trying to keep him emotionally afloat. Even though there are some removals in the other battles,
they went through a lot
everyone
of
is allowed to
ups and
participate
downs,
in the
you know?
dance battle. For the first time in a while,
Must have been
they
a-
get to perform
a
together
long
again,
road.
and this
Just
unity
practice,
gives them
practice,
relief.
practice.
The trainee battle finally arrives. Changbin and
YG.
Jisung begin, leading the battles with a strong rap performance. The two of them do so well that YG praises them as being some of the best rappers he's seen from JYP Entertainment. This validation hits differently because it contrasts with JYP's constant strictness. While Felix is introducing himself to YG, he struggles with Korean pronunciation, something he's actually struggled with for most of all the show. Improving his Korean is a very difficult area to grow in. It's a gap in skills that can't easily be closed with effort. However, YG says he can clearly see Stray Kids' teamwork and gives them a high pass. It validates the group's cohesion as something real and not just imaginary. As the show continues, they're presented with their next mission, a live busking performance. They all visit the site and prepare. Changbin specifically notes how the performers aren't really engaging with the audience. When they're performing, he wants to be looking at the audience more. Around the same time, Jongin admits that his confidence keeps dropping because he's been at risk so often. This repetition of danger becomes his identity almost, where he's starting to see himself as the weak link in the group. He worries that he's going to tear them down and that he could be eliminated very soon. The final preparations for the busking event intensify, especially for Felix, who keeps making mistakes during dance practice. He too is worried that it could be his last performance if he doesn't give it his all. Stray Kids arrive at the busking event and begin the performances. Earlier, JYP let the group know that he wouldn't be the one evaluating this performance. Rather, he'd have two mystery listeners going to the event and analyzing how they do. Stray Kids quickly recognize Jun K, a member of 2PM, who's accompanied by producer Rado. However, the performance is far from perfect, and these imperfections can feel louder when strangers are watching. Changbin's mic falls off and his voice cracks, but he stays focused and finishes strong. Felix makes a mistake during the hoverboard section of Ya Ya Ya, but he gets back up and continues immediately. Even if the audience didn't necessarily see it and they moved on, Felix didn't. The mistake stays in his head. He's constantly worrying what it will mean later on. Could it be the reason that he's eliminated? Could that be his last performance ever? Following the performance, JYP meets with Rado and Jun K. Rado notes something different about the team. He notices that they have strong potential beneath their imperfections. He sees that they're very strong as a team. Jun K sees something similar, praising them as idols who already feel like they're actively promoting. JYP takes their feedback deeply. However, he still needs to evaluate them strictly, emphasizing the whole team could be harmed if members debut too early. However, Rado and JYP praise Jongin's stable vocals. This completely shocks Jongin, so much to the point that he calls his parents immediately, wanting to share the compliment with them. However, it wasn't so easy for everyone. Even though Felix made a mistake in the dance, it wasn't what JYP criticized. He points out that Felix's rap doesn't hit home due to his inexperience with Korean. His pronunciation feels flat. With how hard it is to learn Korean quickly, JYP decides to eliminate him. As JYP leaves the room becomes incredibly cold. No one can believe that someone was eliminated again. Jisung's the first to comfort Felix again. Felix apologizes deeply, feeling like he failed the team even though he tried. Chan tells Felix to always find him at the company and promises he'll never leave him behind. Much like Mino, Felix's heart hurts and he doesn't know what to do next. Changbin realizes both his unit teammates have now been eliminated. He feels he let them down. As the leader, Chan feels guilty. He believes he should have been there for Felix. Despite his elimination, the show continues. The final mission is revealed. The seven must perform in the live finale episode. With Felix missing now, they struggle to adjust Ya Ya Ya. The spacing and energy, their confidence, it all feels missing. As they're recording their new song, Spread My Wings, One Take praises Seungwin's singing. He feels that because they're writing their own music, it helps them to land an emotional connection. They aren't just performing, they're expressing what they actually feel. Earlier on, Hyunjin was worried about making mistakes during the recording. However, Changbin helps him with his pronunciation, helping it to come out in a better product. When he actually records, he still feels nervous, so Jisung steps in to coach him through his performance, helping Hyunjin relax and perform it more naturally. Some time before they recorded, JYP spoke privately with Mino and Felix, admitting that the group feels different as 9 versus 7. He tells them that he wants to give them another chance, noticing how much they've continued to practice and all the hard work they've continued to put in even after being eliminated. When Mino and Felix enter the practice room, the members rush to them immediately. They're not composed at all, they're just relieved to see them. And it's around the same time that Chan reveals his true motivation during all this. He wants Stray Kids to be a family, so when Mino and Felix were eliminated, it felt like that dream was being shattered. He believes that Mino and Felix can only forgive him if all 9 debut together. Now that they're 9, they'll be giving 3 performances as the original 9, one of which being Elevator. As they begin practicing Elevator's choreography again, they're all beaming out of excitement. They can't believe they're all together again. The finale finally arrives. Will Stray Kids be 7 or 9? They perform 3 songs as 9 members and 2 songs as 7 members. Seungwin is praised for having a stronger presence on stage and not just being great at vocals. JYP praises Mino for his improvements and wonders if he's the same person as before. JYP praises Felix
gotta
for
be a
his
good
career
feeling, right?
improving significantly,
dropped and then all
making
of a
him
sudden
become visibly
you
happier
praise.
and more confident on stage, with JYP saying he's visibly grown and his energy has really improved. Now they're standing on the stage, waiting for JYP's decision. Even though the audience voted for 9 members, a whopping 96 to 4%, it doesn't feel triumphant yet. They still have to wait for JYP's final decision. By now,
That's
it
gotta
isn't
be
really even about
so
talent anymore. It's about whether
Right, that's got to be so nerve-wracking. There's 9 of you, 2 of you guys get dropped, and then you come back, and even though all the fans wanted at nine members, the ultimate decision is up to JYP. You know what I'm saying? Young kids put in years of practice singing, rapping, doing everything, all the ups and downs, taking care of each other like a straight brotherhood, and it comes down to this last moment. Anyway, let's see.
or
But we
not,
already
what
know
they've
the
learned
outcome.
is enough to carry them forward. From the very beginning, Stray Kids weren't judged like other teams. They were evaluated as a unit because they weren't formed by a company. They were formed by one person, Chan. That rule never changed. What changed was the group. They learned how to carry responsibility without collapsing under it. They learned how to take criticism without turning on each other, how to step
I love
forward when
seeing
needed,
that.
and step back when someone else needed support.
always got
They
each
learned how to
other's
lose
back,
members and
True
still keep
brotherhood.
going, how to welcome them back without resentment. They learned how to carry guilt without letting it poison the group. And when the decision finally came, it's simple.
축하합니다. 스트레이키즈는 9인조입니다.
Shout out,
이렇게 해서 스트레이키즈 최종
Stray
멤버는
Kids.
전원 데뷔 9명으로 결정됐습니다. 축하합니다. 자.
Stray Kids are approved to debut as 9, not because the struggle disappeared, but because they proved they could survive it together. Debut doesn't erase what they went through, it just proves they're ready for what comes next. The survival show didn't create Stray Kids, it only tested whether they could last or not, and standing there together, they already had their answer. If you want to see how Stray Kids went on to change K-pop forever, you can click the video on screen. Thanks for watching! Bye 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 bye.
Shout out to Stray Kids, man, for holding it down together and always getting each other's back. And shout out to Purple TJ for sending me this short version of this competitive Stray Kids documentary. It's very interesting, and yeah, I had a good time watching it. But overall, man, Stray Kids, man, they put in that work. You could see all the ups and downs, and I'm sure there was times when half of them probably thought they were gonna get dropped, not just from Stray Kids, from maybe the company itself, but they just pulled through it, worked hard, and got each other's back, and at the end, success. So shout out to Stray Kids, and yeah, that was a good documentary to watch. It was short, but I like it like that. It's nice and quick, and everything's just straight to the point. But anyway, once again, guys, if you enjoy watching that video with me, drop a comment, hit that like, and let's just keep watching more K-pop together. And don't ever forget, General's the greatest. General out. Peace.